Hello, gentle viewers. We're back again with a little bit of this U-boat book game. And what I had happen was I had a crew that made it through 1942, and the tables in the book and things only go to that point. And I was reading a book all about the U-boat war, and it was mentioning that after about February of 1942, things got to get really dicey. So I decided to make some slight changes, and you can see what you think. Based on if you're from February or March, I guess, of 1942 all the way further, some adjustments to the number of ships you see, the extent of the escort, and also how much air attack there is, to try to reflect things that got more and more dangerous for our good old U-boats. And so that's what this is going to reflect, and you can see what you think. It's just a couple of kind of simple modifications, but I think they might be interesting to somebody. Who knows? So here's an attempt. Only a few things, and we'll go through them as we start doing the rules. Encounters, to reflect more Allied activity, instead of just getting for a regular encounter, you need Jack through a king. Now I've added a 10 because there's more Allied activity out there, so to me it's more chance you get an encounter. When you get an air attack, you get to figure out what you're being attacked by. And so you roll a dice and you look for Wildcats, Short Sunderlands, Catalinas, or Liberators. Each of these has their own different sort of ability, and it's reflected in certain things. The Wildcat, for instance, only get one attack. You get attacked by them, you survive one attack through the attack table, you're good to go. Short Sunderland is the worst. 3 attacks you gotta suffer. So when you get attacked, you gotta go 3 times to live through that table. Also, on a roll of a 1 to 2 on the damage table, it's a 1d6 -1 rather than -2. That's to reflect that the Short Sunderland was designed for this. It's supposed to be a maritime patrol aircraft, and so it has an ability to do a little more damage, I think. Catalina is typical attack, but you get 2 attacks. Liberator's typical, but you get 3 attacks. Okay, so the Short Sunderland is the toughest. And here's the table that I'm going to be using. 1 to 2 in general is a d6 -2 for the damage you get. On the original table, I think it's a 1. Yeah, a 1 gives you a potential damage, not 1 and 2. So this is reflecting, again, it's harder because it's later in the war. Okay. The other thing is that if you are rolling for damages and all that, and you get a 6, you actually shot down the airplane that was attacking you, and that gives your crew an upgrade by 1, which is nice. You need upgrades, which is awesome. So anytime there's an air attack, those are the differences. The other thing I've done is I've left the jokers in the deck. So if you choose a joker anywhere while you're dealing cards, that signifies an air attack. Even if you're out in the middle of something, there's no convoy, there's no escort, nothing, you get an air attack. So that reflects more of the kinds of things that these people had to deal with. Once you get a joker, you got to reshuffle the deck because you don't want to go through the 2 jokers and know that you have no air attacks coming, so you got to reshuffle. And when you get your joker, then you figure out who's attacking you, and you go through this table for the damage. Okay. The other thing is when you go through you sight something, and you're going to go see if you're going to sight what you're going to sight, what your ships you're going to attack. To reflect the escort and also the number of ships you see, if you roll a 4 up here, there's no sighting. That's normal. Okay, no sighting. That was a false alarm. If you roll a 7, you get to roll on this table below, and so you follow this exactly, and you do like the normal game. And I just used this one for the number of ships, because this is the one that has the most number of ships, etc., etc. And you follow, you see if you roll, you get escort, all those things. But if you get anything other than a 4 and a 7, you automatically get 4 ships and you automatically have heavy escort. Okay, that negates the use of your deck gun at all because you got to be submerged, and that's reflecting again better escort, and more ships out there. And I roll to see if it's what's the numbers, you know, small, large ship, and I'll show you how you do that. So those things make this actually kind of interesting and make it a little bit more, I don't know, I think a little more fun. So we're gonna try this and just kind of show you if we can make it actually through and see what happens. So I also lost my marker, so I'm just using pennies for fuel and torpedoes and all the rest of it. Although again, they have stuff on there in the game you can use. And then I got a cute little new piece of die. I never knew how this worked. This is for rolling it's a 4-sided die apparently. So when it lands, whatever is on the upside is what you read it. So it's B1. Roll it again, there's a 3. Okay, so I didn't know how those worked because I'm not a game geek, but I'm learning. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a try. So we're going to find out, for example, where we're going, what we're going to do. You use this table, location table, because we are in a kind of a conundrum here, which one to use, because you're supposed to be used this side for this type of U-boat. But I just say, let's just see which one of these you use because of our situation. So I roll this little guy and I see I got a 2. So a 1 to 2 is this side, 3 to 4 is this side. So we're going to use this side for our location. So we go ahead and we draw for our location. We got a 4 of clubs. A 4 of clubs is North Atlantic medium. Okay, so we'll put on our little thing here, North Atlantic medium. So now we know we need 2 fuels to get back. Now we're going to draw for our encounters, and because of, again, more ships out there looking for you, it's 10 to a king for an encounter. 2 draws, 2 fuels. So we'll use 1, 2 fuel. We'll go 2 draws. Nothing, nothing. So we get no encounters. Everything is fine. We're on our way onto our pattern, onto our patrol. So let's see what happens. So we get, oh my gosh, look at that. Already the first day we got a sighting, and based on that, it is a day sighting. So now let's see how much escort we got, etc., etc. We roll the dice and we got a 10. So a 10 is not a 7 or a 4. So here's where the first part of my part of the game kind of sets in. I automatically say that means they've got heavy escort, and we're going to find out what the ships are by rolling that 4-sided dice. 1 and 2 is small ship, 3 and 4 is a large ship. So we roll, we got a small ship, a large ship, and a small ship. So I say small, small, large, small, I think is what I had. I think so. Anyway, I can't quite remember. That's how I do that, and that's why I attack them in that sequence, because that makes a difference too in how you're going to approach the how you're going to do a few things when you start to attack, etc., all those tables. All right, so since we know that, we're going to say surface, close, torpedo 1. So we use a torpedo. We go ahead and we roll. And I got, that's if I hit or not. I did. And this means at that short distance, and it's a small target, by the way, -1. So I definitely sunk it if I hit it. But now let's check and see if it was a dud. Wasn't. So we sunk our first little ship. Okay, that's great. Let's go to T2. Use a torpedo. Roll. We got a 4 and a 2. So we're short range, so it's +2, so that's a 6, so that's definitely a hit. And then this would definitely be, this is a 1, because it's a small ship again. So it would be sunk, but let's see if it's a dud or not. It isn't, so we sunk our ship, so everything's going great. Now we go for the first large one. Use a torpedo. Wowzers. We got a hit for sure, but we didn't do any damage. In that case, I don't bother. Well, you made a hit, so let's see if it's a dud. It wasn't. So we hit, but no damage. And that's okay. Now we go to the third torpedo. Roll again. Again, we got a 4 plus a 2 is a 6 is a hit, but a 5 is a... oh wait, is it a small ship? No, it's a large. A 5 would have been, if it was a little ship, you'd say -1, so it would be sunk. But because it's a 5, it's a large ship we're going after based on our list. We didn't sink it. We didn't do anything to it. And it wasn't a dud. So hit, no damage. Okay. Then we go T4. Remember, we only do 5 torpedoes at one little one here. So we got a 2 plus a 2 is a 4, and we got a 4, which would be a sink, which is great. So the problem is a 4 is roll another die. If less than the captain rating, it's a hit. My captain rating is a 3, so I got to get a 1 or a 2, and we're a hit. Oh my gosh, I got a 2. We hit him. So that's good, and we sunk him based on this if we didn't get a dud. Look at that. Always happens. That's a dud. So now we hit, but it's a dud. I'm telling you, if you want to get a dud, just play this game. It's amazing how many times you'll get a king or a queen coming up. Last torpedo for this round. We use our little torpedo. We go ahead and we roll 4 plus a 2 because we're close, so it's a 6, so we hit them. 3 would be a definite sink because a 1 to 4 is a sink. And so everything is great unless it's a dud. Oh no! We now have to abort everything. We just got attacked by an aircraft. So what do? First, we wet our pants. Then we figure out what kind of airplane is attacking us. So we roll our 4-sided dice or the equivalent. I got a 1. That's lucky. That means air attack by a Grumman Wildcat. Okay, based on my little table. A 1 gives you a Wildcat. Only 1 attack. That's sweet. That's wonderful news for us. So I say here A1 for myself, and now I'm going to roll my 1d6 to see what happens. And I'm using I'm using this table here that I've made, which is the slightly more dangerous table. So we roll, we get a 1, okay, 1 to 2. So that means we got a 1d6 minus 2 for damage. So we roll our 1d6. We got a 4 minus 2, so we got 2 damages. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take our dime here, and we will say 1, 2 damages. Now we got to figure out what the damage is. So now we go to our damage table. You roll 2d6. So the first one is a 6, which 5 to 8's no effect. So it's a 2 damages I got, but no effect. That's lucky. Okay, but now we got to roll for the second damage that we got. What do we get? We got a 7. Again, no damage. We are so lucky. We survived the air attack. It was a Wildcat only 1 time. That is absolutely bliss. We are very lucky. However, we have forfeited. We can't attack those last 2 ships because we are worried about the airplane getting us. So 2 things happen. The Joker means we gotta shuffle, because we don't want to then get rid of it and say, oh, now I only have 1 possibility of getting an airplane attack. That's no fun. You want it to be sort of exciting when you turn over the deck, the cards. You don't know what's going to happen. That's what makes it so much fun. So we have to reshuffle. Just like in the game, you always have to reshuffle if you get an ace of spades, draw an ace of spades. So you reshuffled. The other thing is, because you were attacked by an airplane, you have to see if there were any escorts around that go whoo, or the airplane signaled and said, hey, I got a U-boat on the surface. I attacked him. He's at this and this coordinate. So you have to see if you have to go to the ASW table. To do that after an air attack, a 1 to 3 gets you an attack. Got a 2, so I have to go to the ASW table. Okay, so now I got to go to ASW because some escort somewhere has found me, and now they're starting to look after me. So here's my ASW table. I roll 1, I get a 2. U-boat is attacked, receives 1d6 minus 3. So I roll, and yeah, we don't worry about, it's not an extended attack or anything. So this was minus, what did it say? What did I say? Minus 3. So I got a 3, and that means I got no damage. That is so lucky. So no damage, everything's good. Now I withdraw. Now I got to go through the same withdrawal procedure. So when I withdraw, you got to check and see if you were detected. So you go on the detection table, and you got a 2. A 2 is detected. Roll on the ASW table. Oh, at long range, short range is -1, and heavy escort. Well, no, we don't know that. It's just, we don't worry about that because this is just something that showed up. But it is -1. So anyway, we are detected. So it says you got to roll on the ASW table. So roll again. So you see this gets convoluted pretty soon. Got a 4 DOS boat sequence. Okay. So now we go to the DOS boat sequence. My guys are going to go with extreme. They're going to say you get 1 damage. So there's my 1 damage going. And it says you roll 2d6 and you see what happens. We got a 10. 5 to 12 is withdrawal, you're set. So we're in good shape, we survived. We got to see what our damage was though, because we did get a damage. Our damage was, or is, a 7, which I believe is no damage. Yep. So 7 is no effect. So we lucked out. But what a story this is telling so far. So that was all because of that air attack and because of what that would entail. So now we're finally in the clear. Life is good. We're shaken. We got some damage to us, but we are okay, and we're very lucky that the damage wasn't substantial or anything. So we are dang lucky. So now we continue on to our patrol because we've got zillions of fuels. We still got plenty of torpedoes. So we continue. Okay, nothing for 3 days essentially. So 1, 2, 3. Roll again. Only 1, but nothing happened. Ooh, sighting. Yes. Daytime. Move our little thing down there. Do we get anything? We got a 4, so that means 4. Nothing on that table special. That just means heavy escort and 4 ships. What are the ships? Small, large, and large. So I put over here small, large, and we got heavy escort always in our situation. Okay. What are we going to do? Same old, same old. We're going to approach close and submerged, and we're going to say torpedo 1. And this could be interesting because who knows what's going to happen. The longer you're out, the more chance there is for things to happen to you. So I got a 1, which is a complete miss, even with the addition of being at short range and submerged +2. That's just a 3. That's still a miss, no effect. So nothing happens. So our first torpedo missed. We go to torpedo 2 and use it. Roll our dice. 2 and 2 is a 4, and then this would be a sink. But a 4 means you've got to roll again to see if you're less than the captain rating, which again I need a 1 or a 2. Got a 5, so it's a miss. Okay, another torpedo. We go ahead. We got a 5 + 2 is a 7, which is a hit, and we got it would be sinking, but let's make sure. Look at that. Did you see that? Did you see that? So it's a hit and a dud. I feel like Grant on the player's aid. So T4. Got a 3 + 2 is a 5, so that's a hit. A 2 is going to be a sink if it's not a dud. It won't be. Whew. I saw the face card and I was scared. So there's a sink finally. So So mark off my little ship. Now we're going out for a big ship. Our last torpedo in this group, because then we can't fire anymore, because that would be 5 at this little grouping. So I roll. I get a 6, which is great. I hit him, but I didn't do any damage. Let's see if it was a dud. No, it wasn't. So I hit, but no damage. Okay. So now what am I going to do? Well, shoot, there's 3 juicy large ships there. I still got 3 torpedoes left, and I got lots of fuel. I got to extend with all that entails. So extending is dicey. It's hard. It's dangerous, but we got to do it. We just got to. So if we extend, we are short range. So -1. We're extending -1 and it's heavy escort. So whatever we get, we got to subtract 3. So this will be interesting for detection. I got a 1 because, well, I got a 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So roll again. Higher than the crew rating, we're detected. Our crew rating is a 3. I got a 1. So we weren't detected. Lower than crew rating, not detected. So we lucked out there. So we are not detected. So we go on and we keep attacking. So torpedo 1. Going after that big sucker that we see. Got a 6, but also a 6. So we hit it, but it didn't do any damage. We check and see if it's a dud. No, it's not. So it's hit, but no damage. T2, we only got 1 more torpedo after this. Los. 3 and 2 is 5. It's a hit. 2 is a sink. Come on, no kings or queens. Yes. So we sunk it. This is awesome. So there's 1 large ship down. We only got 1 torpedo left, and we got to leave. So last torpedo. We fire our last torpedo. We get a 5. We get a hit and a sink. If it's not a king or a queen, it's not. Sweet. We sink it. 1 more large, and then there's 1 large left, but we got no torpedoes left. And we can't use our gun ammo unless we ended up sticking around and hoping that we end up rolling on this table and get no escorts and stuff. So, we could hang around somewhere, but in terms of this particular attack, we're done. But we have to leave, and so we have to withdraw. To withdraw, you do the same old thing. You look at the detection table. Whatever we get, it's not an extended attack anymore, I think, right? Because you're just withdrawing. So we're going to just -2. So I got a 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 to 6 is not detected. So we are lucky. So we're not detected, and we slip away. Now, we could just head home at this point because we don't have any torpedoes. However, what if you do get lucky and sight something, and then you maybe would be lucky enough and roll a 7 and then go down that bottom table? The problem with that is, remember, there's 2 jokers in that deck just waiting to be used. And so, that's air attack. We're going to go a little more, though, just for the heck of it, see if we find anything. Okay, nothing. At least use some more of the Reich's fuel. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, at least we're using some fuel because we feel dumb lying around there. Sweet, look at that. Yes, we have a detection, and it's at night, I believe. Make sure. I haven't done it for so long. It's a spade. Yeah, 8 to a king is a night sighting, so that's great, night sighting. Let's see what the escort is, or what the ships are. We rolled a 7. We rolled a 7. Anything else, as before, would have been, we would abort because we can't fight with these guys because we got no torpedoes. But we rolled a 7. So now I get to use the bottom table just as normal. See, roll again below. So I go ahead and roll. I got a 1. Shoot, a 1 is no sighting. So that was a false alarm. So false alarm, no sighting. We continue. Nothing. Nothing for 2 more fuels. Ooh. Yes. Day. Roll again. See what happens. We got a 6, which doesn't help us because we can't attack them because we got nothing. So we just move on. We're looking at the periscope. We weren't detected. We're like, okay, let's just keep going. Another sighting that day. The very next time, use a fuel. Roll again. We got an 8. Same situation. We can't attack them. 1, 2, 3. We're sighting stuff, but we can't attack it because we'll get creamed. Nothing. 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 We're hanging out there. Nothing again. 2 times. Now we're starting to get lower here. Definitely nothing there. Now we're starting to look at our fuel situation. Ace of spades. That is a sighting, and that's a night sighting. So that's yes, night. Check and see if we get to roll on that lower table or not. We got a 3. No, we don't. So that's all there is to it. However, because we got an ace of spades, we must shuffle the deck. So we do that. Shuffling the deck part is fun because you really do, need to. It really changes what's going on in your the possibilities. It just makes it so much more exciting when you don't know what's there and you don't know if you're going to get something or not. Okay, so we go for another day. Nothing for 2 more days. We'll do 1 more. Ooh, we sight something. So yes, we sight something. It's a day target. And is it something we can actually attack? No, it's a 12. So we can't do anything. 1 more. No. No. Now, we can do 1 more because if we get a club, it uses 3. Oh, no, we can't. Because then we wouldn't have enough to get home because we're going to use 2 to get home. Right? Mediums are 2, aren't they? Yeah, 2 fuels. So we need to have 2 fuels. So really, I'm done. I'm just going to head home because I don't want to get out of fuel. Okay. So we head home. 2 fuels. Let's see if we get any contacts on the way home. Now we get contacts with a 10 to a king. Okay. And we got to draw 2 in this case. No. 10. Yes, we do. So we have a contact. We have an encounter. So now we do have an encounter on the way home. What's going to happen? Well, we go to the encounter table, which is right here, and we roll. And you get a -1 if you're, to me, if you're February 42 on. So I rolled a 4, so that means I get 3. A 3 is no effect. That's pretty lucky. So we made it home. We made it. Life is good. Now let's just see for fun what happens to our crew a little bit here. End of patrol refit. We roll the dice. We get a 6. So that's looking bad. We received some damage though. 3 damages, right? Yeah. So 0, 1 damage minus 3, 2 damages, 3 damages, nothing. So right now it's still at a 6, which is not good. So a 6 is 2 months. Okay, so that with the DRM, so 2 months. Our next patrol has to be in April. Is in May. Is in June of 42. The next time we go. Then let's see what happens to crew rating. Now, they didn't shoot any airplanes down. They got attacked, but nothing happened. They didn't shoot down the little Wildcat, I think it was. So nothing special there, but let's just roll and see if they get anything. They get a 6, 3 to 4 merchant vessels. Yes. 4+ is a -1. See, yeah. So you get a I'm sorry, 3 to 4 or +5. What do we get? +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Oh, 5+. So we get +2, And then we receive damage, but not a lot, not enough. So we get whatever we get +2, which is 6, which is 8, which absolutely we get our thing raised by 1. So now our crew is no longer a 3, they're a 4, which is awesome because that makes a difference, okay? And then let's just for fun see what happens to the captain. Captain got a 5. He had, well, let's see, 3 plus merchandise, yes, he got a 1. He had a DOS boat sequence, and he escaped. Yeah, so, oh, did he? I thought I wrote it down. Now I don't remember. Okay, we'll just say, because I don't remember, that he has no effect, so he is still what he is. I can't remember if we got a stupid DOS boat. I got to go back and look. So anyway, that is sort of the changes. They're not monumental changes. They're not hard to do. And I do think they reflect some interesting things and make the game a little bit more fun and exciting. So I like them. I'm going to write them up a little bit better. And let me know what you think. But the game is still so much fun to play as is. And then adjusting it is fun because a change of one die roll or one DRM makes a huge difference in what you get, and it's nerve-wracking and relentless and fun. So still really loving playing U-Boat Captain from Minden Games.